one thing about me is if you try to come for my character or my credibility when I'm trying to address misinformation being spread, and your deflection is to say that I'm being defensive, all you're really gonna do is make me get petty. And that's what happened today. So a quick little backstory. I was working at the studio the other day, got done with my client a little early, and decided after I cleaned up, I was going to hang out and do a little quick doom scroll in between clients. And then this video came across my feed.
Extensions, like see this? All this is just brown. So you have to curl it like this, backwards for it to blend. You see? Terrible.
If Alabama Barker, stepdaughter of Kourtney Kardashian, endless money, ultimate celebrity connections, access to celebrity hairstylists, and the best of the best, if that's what her hair looks like after extensions, what makes you think you're going to be any different? My DMs are flooded with hundreds of DMs per day with really sad, unfortunate stories just like this, where they went in for extensions just for a quick fix, just for a few months, just until their hair was repaired, and then they would get the extensions taken out, and they're thousands of dollars in the hole. Their hair looks worse than ever before. They have the smallest little rat tails for hair left. So don't get caught in the trap. Don't let anybody talk you into extensions that will repair your hair. It's weight pulling on the follicle of your hair. It's only going to lead to damage. So let this be your sign. If you're thinking about getting extensions, if you have extensions, don't be played. This will be your outcome. Your quick fix is going to lead to a rat tail that is going to take far longer to repair. Like, think about it.
Now, one thing I can agree with, my biggest frustration and annoyance is when a celebrity or influencer or reality TV star who has access to money, the connections, the resources, have bad hair. It's my biggest pet peeve. My poor partner has to hear about it every time we watch a show. I'm like, use your wealth to your advantage. Another point of context to this situation is that Alabama Barker is no stranger to people talking about her appearance, her hair, her makeup, but her hair itself wasn't even what piqued my interest. It was the statement that followed in order to pitch a hair care line.
If that's what her hair looks like after extensions, what makes you think you're going to be any different?
Now, as an owner of a hair care line, I think that is completely dishonest. I think that is completely predatory, and I think it's very misleading to tell your audience that her hair only looks like that because of hair extensions, to buy your miracle serums, and they're gonna have perfect hair. It's gross. I get the hustle, but respectfully, it's wrong. As a licensed cosmetologist for over 14 years and a certified extension stylist for over 5 years, I have numerous clients who I've been able to graduate out of hair extensions and their natural hair looks beautiful. I also have clients who still are wearing hair extensions that don't need to anymore, and they choose to. Why? Because they like how they look. Not all extension artists are money hungry, looking to ruin your hair. I don't think it's fair to frame stylists as the enemy and that you're the only person who knows what you're talking about. I get that that's the nature of TikTok marketing nowadays, and I really hate it. Yeah, it's just frustrating. So as soon as I heard that, I was just like, girl, what are you talking about? I have eyes. That's not what the issue is here. I said, hold my hand while I tell you that it's from bleaching her hair, not hair extensions. This is misinformation. To which this creator responded,
hold my hand when I tell you that it's certainly both. The uncured for bleached hair is certainly damaging.
I think she means uncared for.
Uncared for bleached hair is certainly damaging, but the extensions on already compromised hair is making it far worse. I can understand how you're defensive though, as this is how you make your income.
And that is what sent me over the edge to make this video, because what the fuck are you talking about? So who is this person? Why is this misleading information? And what are my thoughts around why Alabama Barker's hair is how it is? Okay, so the TLDR is that this creator is Natalie Miller. She is a content creator who grew a following on TikTok, documenting her hair journey to repair her hair. It had been really damaged. She was experiencing a lot of breakage. From the looks of it, it was just like over processed bleached hair. She created an organic hair care brand, Twice as Good Hair Care, with her twin sister Nicole. And I did want to note that they do have a licensed cosmetologist as well as a functional medicine clinician on their team. So like that's good. Twice as Good Hair Care is an organic hair care line that aims to nourish and repair damaged hair while also promoting overall hair health and length. And a full disclosure, prior to stumbling upon this video, I never heard of Nicole, never heard of Twice as Good Hair. I'm not on TikTok, so like maybe it's popular over there, but like I don't know anything about this creator, this brand. At the end of the day, the point of this video isn't even to attack her or her brand. It's just the words and messaging coming out of her mouth in order to promote her own products. And it's about spreading misinformation and deceitful marketing tactics in order to make yourself look better, which in my opinion never works. I guess before I dive into what she specifically said in the video that is problematic and misleading, let me give you a brief background to Alabama Barker. Again, this isn't an attack on Alabama. I don't know her personally, obviously, and I'm not her hairstylist, so this is just speculation on what I have seen over the years with Alabama and her hair journey. Alabama Barker is daughter to infamous drummer Travis Barker of Blink-182. I've seen her at red carpets. Her and her brother have gone to events with Travis in the past, so I've seen pictures of her as she's grown up and stuff. She's naturally dirty blonde, maybe a light brown hair, and has been bleaching it for as long as I can remember. As Alabama has gotten older and rose in popularity, especially through TikTok, she has been accused by many, and I mean I would agree with this, of blackfishing. She will enhance features, darken her tan, and mimic well-known black artists, models, etc. Honestly, I think this is where the beginning of the hair problems start with Alabama Barker. If you're not aware, Alabama is white. I can see from old photos she has pretty fine hair. I think it's straight, maybe a little wavy. She's had years of, like I said, bleaching and bleaching and bleaching and bleaching. I equate a lot of her journey similar to what Kylie Jenner's journey was during the King Kylie era of replicating hairstyles that aren't intended for her hair type. So you mix in bleaching, protective styling that is for curly hair, the wigs, you mix in the extensions, and you have a recipe for disaster on how someone's hair ends up looking like this. Yeah, it's not just the extensions. There's a lot of layers to why Alabama Barker's hair looks how it looks. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into the actual issue at hand, which is the statements made in this video and why I said in my comment, you are spreading misinformation. A big misleading element in general, which from a scroll on her Instagram and a scroll on her TikTok, I think this just goes into the rage bait that is TikTok, but misleading element number one is discrediting hairstylists is at the forefront of her marketing strategy. Now, from again the brief research that I did, I didn't do a full deep dive into this person, but of what I could find, there wasn't really a ton. She's not a hairstylist. She's simply a consumer who had a bad experience and then decided to take matters into their own hand to come up with a solution, which cool, great, love that. And I understand how, especially in the current climate of TikTok, especially, TikTok hates hairstylists. I'm sorry, but you can do numbers on TikTok if you trash a hairstylist. Anything pertaining to the salon world, you get a lot of traction, you get a lot of engagement. Again, after doing a little bit of a dive into her profile, her content, I didn't go all the way back, but I went a good full year back in her content. I can tell that she got burned by a stylist in the past. And actually I did end up finding a video where she kind of tells a little bit of a story about how her best friend was her hairstylist and wrecked her hair. And I understand how that sucks. I've been burned by my own stylist before too. It sucks. It's hard. I know. And it's frustrating to spend money and to hate your hair. However, there are thousands of stylists in the industry. One bad experience doesn't discredit the thousands of other artists out in the world that are doing amazing work, are doing amazing by their clients, and actually are credible. Your experience is not everyone's experience, and that doesn't mean you need to bring down an entire industry just to prove a point. Now, misleading element number two is her whole quick fix for a few months argument. This is a situation that is true for some, not for all. I'm going to sound so repetitive in this video, but every single extension install is truly personal, and the only way to find out what is going to work for you is a very thorough consultation with your artist. So usually what happens when someone's hair looks worse after extensions could be a number of things, but the big ones are an improper method was used on their hair or improper installation. Now, a lot of people will get certified for extensions and then just kind of jump in, not really know what they're doing, not practice, not put the reps in. Unfortunately, the client's hair is what suffers in that process. Another example of why people's hair will look worse after extensions is because when you go in to shape the extensions, a lot of stylists will cut into the client's real hair. So it'll look great when the extensions are in, and then you take them out and their ends are shedded. If you've ever seen people with really sparse hair when they take their extensions out, but it didn't look like that before, it's because the stylist cut into their natural hair when they were shaping the extensions. You have to cut the extensions to make them have natural movement that replicates the hair, but there's a technique and an approach to do that without cutting your client's hair. You can get it to blend without cutting your client's hair. Again, that just goes back to not having the right skill set, not having enough reps in. And then like the main reason and the hardest pill to swallow for why clients may have a bad experience with hair extensions is just pure client neglect. Now, extensions aren't the most complicated thing to take care of, but they do still require care and a little bit of diligent work. And if you don't do that, you're not going to have a good experience wearing them. I'm sorry. And there's no sugarcoating that. You're spending thousands of dollars on your hair. Take care of it. The next misleading element I wanted to discuss was the whole concept of extensions repair your hair. I need to, on behalf of the entire industry, just apologize for this whole concept of hair repair. Technically speaking, scientifically speaking, extreme damage done to your hair cannot be undone. I don't care what product you use, whatever. You can use things that help band-aid the issue. The only way your hair's gonna be healthy is if you're taking care of your scalp and the new growth that you're getting. Anything past is done. I'm sorry, it's done. The only way to repair it is to cut it off. So when you make the claim of like, oh, put in extensions to repair your hair, it's not necessarily that the extensions are repairing your hair. What's actually happening is extensions are a resource, they're a tool, they're an aid to help you get to your goals and help you instantly feel better while you're in the awkward in-between. The extensions themselves aren't going to fix your hair. What's going to fix your hair is proper hair care, a proper hair care routine, taking care of your hair, a proper diet, all the things we don't want to listen to. The extensions are also creating a barrier between your natural hair and like the hot tools you're using. It's reducing the amount of styling that you're having to do day to day. They hold styles longer, so you're not having to touch your hair up every single day like you are normally. It's just an aid to get you to the next point that you're trying to get to with your hair. It's not that the extensions themselves are healing your hair, it's just that they're giving your hair that cushion and that break that it needs until you get to your goals. Not all clients are good candidates for hair extensions. The consultation is the only way that you learn that. You need a full assessment consultation, whether that's an assessment like form with photos, whether that is an in-person consultation. Either way, you need to have it communicated what your hair history is. Your hair needs to be looked at and examined in some way to make sure you are actually a good candidate for hair extensions. If you're not, the goal should be to get you to a point where your hair is okay and healthy and safe to have a safe application. Safety is first and foremost with an install. I don't care what you think. So the next misleading piece of information that all extensions are is weight pulling on the follicle of your hair, and that's causing breakage. The damage that she's talking, especially on Alabama's hair, that damage, that little that's breakage. That is breakage. That is chemical breakage. She has a chemical cut. Breakage with extensions comes from either an improper installation or an improper method for your hair. And then from there, the only real damage that's like irreversible damage from the extensions is going to be traction alopecia, which is from too much tension in one isolated spot that ends up causing the follicle to get damaged and then the hair falls out. But the result from traction alopecia is like bald spots, not weird shedded bottom ends, not how it looks when you get a chemical cut, not how it looks when your hair is just frail and damaged. That would come from your stylist cutting into your hair and not just cutting your extensions. This is just wrong. She has no idea what she's talking about, and it's just crazy to me that you can stand on your little soapbox and just be factually incorrect about how a service works. This little rat tail that she's talking about, you would not normally get that from a bad install. I'm sorry, you don't. That's not how that works. And then again, her saying that extensions only lead to damage is extremely misleading. My backstory as an extension wearer, not just as somebody who works with hair extensions, is that I shaved my head in 2020, but I have naturally curly hair. So as it grew in, I did do protective braids on and off for probably 6 months to get my hair long enough where I could get hair extensions put in. From there, I had 3 rows of wefts plus K-tips to fill in where I had awkward chunks of hair, because when you shave your hair doesn't grow in even. I wore hair extensions pretty much consecutively for I think 6 months up to maybe a year. And then honestly, I just got sick of it because then my hair started growing out and I have a lot of hair. It's heavy and I don't want to deal with it. But yeah, I didn't have any issues with hair extensions. And that was on my very compromised hair. I even had K-tips in the front of my hair and half my hair was bleached. If I can find pictures from that time, I'll put them up here. But I used them to get me through an awkward length until I felt comfortable wearing my natural hair again. With the right strategy and install method, extensions work wonders, I swear. Like, I swear by them. And then to say this will be your outcome if you get hair extensions is just very irresponsible as a business owner, because you can't talk in absolutes as a business owner. That's why I keep saying, have a consultation, find out what's right for you. Not every client is a good candidate for extensions. You can't talk in absolutes, especially when it comes to like a service-based industry, when it comes to a product. That's just irresponsible, especially when you're making absolute claims about your hair care line, but then you're not transparent about the lifestyle changes that you made that also improved your hair health. You can't go from bleaching your hair all the time to doing a more lived-in, minimal highlighting look and then say that your hair care products are the only reason your hair is growing. No, your hair's growing because you're not damaging it as much. If you were to be Tana Mojo getting a bleach and tone 5 years ago and she had all her little breakage pieces and stuff, and then you fast forward to like Tana Mojo now, who doesn't get her hair colored as often, and when she does, she's been getting like highlights through the top. Her hair's finally growing. Yeah, she's using less bleach on her hair, which is less overlap in product, less damage, and less likelihood of a chemical cut happening. It still could happen, but it's not as likely to happen when you're not doing a full head of bleach. Be honest. Also, if you change any heat styling that you're doing, if you go from curling your hair with a curling iron every day to doing heatless overnight curls every day, I'm not claiming that this is what this creator has done, but I'm just saying as an example, you can't say go from using hot tools every day to using heatless styling and then say, oh, this product is why my hair is healthy now. No, you're using less heat on your hair. Obviously, your hair is going to be healthier. I just think that when you're a brand owner, transparency is key. Even for me as a service provider, I try to be as transparent with my clients as I can, because at the end of the day, that is what's going to keep your business healthy, keep clients coming back, keep customers coming back, and it's not predatory to do that. Just be honest. So I don't know. Was I being defensive? Is this video defensive? I'm just very frustrated, and I don't like or respect or appreciate this type of marketing strategy. I can definitely admit that I was being shady by leaving my comment. However, I think people have a right to know when you're being dishonest and not giving them the full picture. Please don't go interact with this creator. If you have something to say about the situation, leave it in the comments below and we can chat down there. Otherwise, if you'd like to see my face on your screen again, I do upload here every Sunday. You can hang out, be part of the squad. By all means, read me to filth. If my initial comment was me being defensive, or even if you think this video is me being defensive, I don't think I see defensiveness the same way as other people do. I think if I'm informing and stating a fact, that's not being defensive, but I could be wrong. I can admit when I'm wrong. I will stand 10 toes on that I was being shady. I'll take it. I'll own it. Thank you so much for joining me today. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one.